Welcome back to the Dorms podcast. Today we got a quick review of The Last of Us episode 1 because that dropped this week.
Yes,
And
sir.
I was about to take another bite of rice. And discussion just kind of like on Hollywood actors because actors are really interesting to talk about.
And I feel like before we get into the news and stuff like normal,
Yeah.
I feel like the one thing that actors have the hardest than any other thing in the film industry is memorization.
Hard. I've done it.
We can. So have I. Like as a director or a cinematographer, you can mess up and you can just go again, right? But it could be a tweak accident. But acting, the more you mess up, the more it's okay, buddy. Come on, let's get this done. So that's all I had to say about that.
It's
how we doing? How we doing, boys? You just first week back, right?
Yep.
Yeah, first week back feels pretty good. It's cold as hell though.
We got
Last
over a
semester?
foot of snow.
Woo.
Yeah, last semester. Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. All right. Well, what news time?
What do you got, Matthew?
What do you got for us, bitch?
Another Wednesday cosplay?
Thursday
Back to back.
Talking about actors. Julian Sands has been reported missing after hiking today.
Who?
Julian
I don't know who that is.
I have no idea.
That
Known for
sounds
his
familiar.
roles in films A Room with a View of a Warlock and a Warlock. What?
Jillian Sands?
Yeah.
I thought you said Julian.
Yeah, Julian. Julian.
Well, the way Ben said it, it sounded like he was saying Chilean Sands.
I thought it was Jillian.
It's Julian. Julian, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
God, man,
Julian
the news
Sands.
Fucking your shit up, everybody.
Megan is getting a sequel in 2025.
Yeah,
Why?
apparently that movie's...
Because apparently it's really good.
I don't know if it's really good. It's just way better than everyone expected.
Well, how good can you get with a killer android doll movie? So,
Oh man,
They made
you
it-
remember
they
the
took-
original Goosebumps with Slappy?
Yeah.
well, that's different. Isn't he possessed?
Yeah, he's not an android, but still a talking doll.
Yeah. But Megan's literally just an android. It's weird. Michael Jackson biopic in the works from Antonio Fuqua and Lionsgate.
Swear to God.
They got an
Hopefully
actor for that yet?
Hopefully that shit's good.
Not yet. They literally just started working on it.
Well, the thing is you can't have an actor. You got to have multiple actors for that thing.
Oh yeah, if they're doing...
Because they need a young black actor. They need a
Yeah,
middle-aged
what
black
they
actor.
did with
Not middle-aged,
Elvis.
but you mean adolescence, teenage,
Yeah.
and then obviously a white dude.
That's the thing with Michael Jackson is it's not like Elvis where his childhood is not important to where he was. Michael Jackson was just popular throughout his entire life.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting with a movie like that, especially about Michael Jackson's life, because they can't leave out little parts. His life was so on the screen already that if they think that they can leave out this, if you're going to make a Michael Jackson biopic, it's got to go all in. All in, even the bad shit. But I hope they don't exploit him. I hope what this movie does is what Blonde did do, or I hope what this movie doesn't do is what Blonde did. And they took this person of Marilyn Monroe, right? And they took all the good parts of her life and threw it out the window, made it all about all the bad parts of her life, over sexualized her, all this shit, made her seem like she was a drug addict, which isn't the case at all. I mean, she was a kind of drug addict, but that's I don't know the full story on Marilyn Monroe. But with Michael Jackson, you have to show those allegations. You have to show every part of it, or it's just gonna be shitty. Because the movie might be good, but it won't be accurate.
They better show the part in history where Michael Jackson tried to buy Marvel Comics so he can play Spider-Man.
That'd be fire.
I need that.
Yes.
I mean, I know it's not going to happen. I
need that ambition.
I could probably already tell you exactly what this movie is going to be about. The front half is going to be so awesome, and then once like that skin color change happens, it's going to be pretty okay, and then they're just going to shit on him.
That's
Or
how
they're gonna
every single
shit on
biopic is made. It's just like
because they
here's
really
the rise and fall.
well because they usually only do biopics on people that have died, have died in not like a normal way, like ODing, Elvis, Rocket Man, Bohemian Rhapsody, Straight Outta Compton, Easy
Elton
E's
didn't
death.
die; he just almost died.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He almost died, but still, like,
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's like, how far into like his life do you go? Do you go up to like the date of his death and then end the movie there, or do you do what Elvis did and cut it off at a certain
cut it
point
short.
and then show like an other important part of his life and then show what the credits are?
well, you got to think about it. Like with Michael Jackson, he's a weird case because up until basically the day he died, he was being alleged of all of these crimes.
It's like the
So it's like
90s.
exactly. So if they want to be very accurate, they basically have to go up until his death. But if they wanted
Yeah.
to, they could stop before, like right around like We Are the World time, and then people just have to like kind of get the context clues of what it's about. But I feel like if you're gonna make a Michael Jackson biopic, especially Lionsgate, who's a pretty decent production company, they better go all the fuck in on it, and they better make it as good as possible. Or me, I will be pissed. Fuck everyone else. Me. No, I'm just kidding.
Speaking of Michael Jackson, you guys see that news of who was it? Was it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? They didn't put Michael Jackson like the top 50 greatest singers of all time.
Oh no, it was Rolling Stones. They
Rolling
had him
Stones?
at 8. They had him at 86.
What the fuck?
In the top 200 greatest singers of all time, he was 86.
Bro,
In
I
my
don't even know
pers-
if I can name 86 singers.
Well, in my personal opinion, the people that should be in there, little sidetrack, but like Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin.
Yep.
And it's crazy that he's at 86. But I mean, we can save
Frank
the rest of
Sinatra.
Michael Jackson, for a different time. Frank Sinatra's in there, shoot. Yeah.
Surprised they
All
got
right,
a
Matthew,
biopic
what's
on
next?
him.
This one's not like it's kind of big news because of the second movie, but
Mm.
Edward R. Pressman, he was a producer for Wall Street back in the 70s and then American Psycho. Died at 79 today.
Rest in
Damn,
peace.
rest in peace.
Yeah. Olivia Cook is starring in an E1 horror thriller, Visitation? Yeah, Visitation.
I do like Olivia Cook.
What's she been in? I don't.
Ready Player One.
I don't
She
know.
was just, yeah,
Oh,
Ready
word.
Player One. She was just in House of the Dragon.
Word.
USC Scripter Awards, Top Gun, and Pinocchio.
I don't know what that
And
means.
Unexpected Noms. No clue what the USC Scripter is.
Probably just awards for the script, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of Netflix dropped their like save the date thing today. So we got a bunch of teasers for movies coming out. And tomorrow we're getting Scream 6 trailer.
Scream 6 tomorrow.
We got that
I'm not gonna
today.
watch it.
Did you
No,
not
it's
see it?
tomorrow.
No. It was just it
did
was just
I
like a
see?
7-second teaser.
It was just a teaser.
Oh, we
It was
seen
a
today?
teaser for the second
Yeah.
trailer. That's all it was.
Dude, people
Yeah.
are angry that Ghostface has a shotgun in a scene.
Mm.
Why?
I mean, he's not bound to just a gun or a knife.
Knife, yeah.
He's
I
just
think
had a
there's-
knife in every movie. I just don't understand why people are angry that he picked up a shotgun.
He was
I think
using a
they're-
gun in the last movie.
Was he?
Yeah.
Only
Alex
to,
and-
only to interrogate them. Pretty much at every point in all 5 movies up to this point, Ghostface at the very end has a gun, and they're like threatening the main characters, like, if you don't do this, I'm gonna
Well, no, he
fucking
was
kill
trying
you.
to shoot Jenna, and then I can't remember the actress who played her
Well-
sister, but
Isn't in the original Scream, like one of the main weapons was a gun though.
I can't remember.
I don't think it was for Ghostface, but I know
was for Sidney
that
Prescott, but-
Courtney Cox's character, she definitely had a gun throughout most of the movie.
Yeah.
And I remember they had it at one point, and like, well, I could be getting you wrong, but I swear that like they had the gun and the knife in the kitchen, and they were like,
Mhm.
I mean, guns are like
yeah,
very prevalent in Scream. I love the bit in Scream 5 where it's like, I'm Sidney Prescott, of course I have a gun.
yeah.
What
Okay.
what else did Netflix have today? Oh yeah,
I don't know.
Zack Snyder fans.
Yeah, the
Rebel
Rebel
Moon.
Moon.
Rebel Moon teaser.
Set to debut on December 22nd.
Yes, sir. Matthew, I don't know if
That's
you know this,
so
but it's
far.
it was a test script for a Star Wars movie that got turned down,
Oh.
and then Zack Snyder was like, "I'm just gonna turn it into a regular movie." So he's making, I think it's a trilogy for Netflix. But have you seen Anthony Hopkins? The way he looks in that movie, he's like playing this warlord android dude with like antlers. Oh, looks so good visually. We know Zack Snyder's great with visuals. We'll see how he is with story on this.
Channing Tatum's is developing a remake of Ghost.
Oh, are you fucking serious?
Channing Tatum's still sucking on Hollywood's balls, I see. Don't take that wrong, though. I love Channing Tatum with all my heart. I really do. I fuck with the guy heavy. But it feels like... What?
I thought you were making a joke about At the End of the World where he's plays a gimp in Hollywood, but he plays himself.
Oh yeah,
no.
and, This Is the End.
Yeah, that's the movie.
No, I was making a statement like, I just feel like Channing Tatum, I guess this is kind of like the best way to start the acting conversation. He's a very good actor, but I feel like when he kind of started doing Magic Mike, he typecasted himself as this sexy guy. Because before he was in a lot of just funny ass movies as a sexy guy, but he was playing a funny guy. And now he's just playing like this sexy guy. I don't know.
What do you
His
mean?
best
All the
role
trailers,
is in.
he's like, is this a sexual thing?
Is this the sex thing? He's like got the hat on.
Yeah.
Is this? He said,
His
I
best
fucking
acting
saw
role
you.
is in Foxcatcher.
Foxcatcher? I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have
Is it
seen
the
the
wrestling movie
clip
with
where he like
Chris or Steve Carell?
yeah,
Okay.
and he bangs his head into the mirror for like 10 seconds.
Damn.
Nightcrawler?
Yeah,
I can
I don't-
respect
basically.
I can respect Channing Tatum though. He's a very good actor.
I think he is.
Underrated. He's
I
just
think
been
he
a
just
lot
needs that one big role that's not Magic Mike.
he's just in a lot of shitters.
And I
Or
feel
just a
bad
lot
because
of,
like
like-
he was supposed to be Gambit for like the past 15 years.
Damn.
That
That
would
would've
just
been
been screwed
fire.
over and screwed over and screwed over.
I don't know how to say this dude's name, but it's Chad Stahelski.
Yeah, director of John Wick.
Yeah, he's directing a Rainbow Six movie with Michael B. Jordan.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, that could be
Which
interesting.
He's also
Rainbow
directing a
Six.
Ghost to Tsushima movie.
But it's with Paramount, so
Oh.
I think the Rainbow Six movie is also a sequel to Without Remorse that Michael B. Jordan did last year. That was mid.
Sad.
Damn.
But I played Siege, so it could be cool.
yeah. Sandra May Frank
I'm kinda-
and
I'm kind of done watching superhero like video game movies. I'm kind of
And
over
it's
it.
funny you say that though.
Well, yes, but that's very different because this one was done well. I don't
Because
think
this
that-
one's good.
I don't think Rainbow Six is going to be done well. Like, if a video game movie was done well, yeah, like it'd be cool to watch. But all the
See-
ones that I've seen in recent, except for this one, have been like pretty mid.
I don't think Siege is that hard to like
No, it's
mess
literally
up
just
because
like
there's like no
shooting.
story. It's just a bunch of operators.
Yeah.
It's just a heist movie with cool operators.
They need to do what like Siege actually did, and it's like not actual bullets, it's just paintball.
I don't want to watch a paintball movie.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Well, otherwise it's not gonna make sense. Like they're just
Yeah,
gonna
it
be
is.
killing each other
Kill
over and
someone.
over again.
Okay.
Okay. And Sandra May Frank and Mekhi Pfeiffer joined
Michelle
the
Pfeiffer?
Silent Hour. No, it's Mekhi Pfeiffer.
Oh.
I thought he was just saying Michelle.
Yeah, I was like, how do you misread Michelle? But I have no idea who that is.
This other site had something about Avatar: Way of the Water, but it's a spoiler.
Yeah, I don't care.
Is that it for the news then, or no?
No, that's all just from today. That's all news
Oh.
from today.
I mean,
Damn.
that's all the big stuff. But Netflix also released the teaser for The Killer, which is David Fincher's new movie
Oh,
with
damn.
Michael Fassbender.
Michael. I haven't seen a movie with Michael Fassbender in a while. Any new stuff, at least.
And then teaser for Extraction 2 with Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth.
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 Is that going to be his last acting role for a while since the
I don't know.
dementia thing?
I don't know. 'Cause he's like saying this and then he's filming more stuff. It makes no sense.
I think he's just taking it easy.
Yeah.
Oh, also, Ted Lasso season 3 got confirmed for spring of this year.
Yeah, I saw that shit.
I know I'm the only one out of this group that watches it, but
I've seen a little bit,
it's fire.
bits and pieces, like on YouTube and stuff. Looks pretty good.
I think that's all the big news.
Yeah, I don't really care about the small shit.
A lot of it's just
I don't know who
trailers and
Makiki
stuff.
Pfeiffer is.
Audrey
What?
Ivanchiko? He played a German hitman or Russian hitman in Stranger Things season 3.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
Terminator
playing.
knockoff.
He's starring in a movie called Darkness of Man.
Because he looks like Josh Brolin. Fucking strong ass jaw. Miles has got that Josh Brolin jaw going on right now. At least your beard makes it look like it, bro. Your beard just fixes your face like to a box shape, but it also rounds it out, so it looks like a bucket.
Imagine Steve from Minecraft with rounded edges.
and a beard.
And a beard. Exactly.
He has a beard.
Steve?
No, he has
Hey,
he has
that's
5 o'clock shadow.
Good looking dude.
Good looking piece of block.
Yeah.
So Steven Spielberg's daughter is making her directorial debut. I don't know with what movie,
Which one?
but
Not his stepdaughter, right?
Destry.
Okay. His stepdaughter does a different kind of films.
And
Making her directorial debut.
I was like, I don't know if this is the news.
He's pulling a
we
Bella
need.
Thorne.
Boogie Nights.
Destry
Making
Boogie
Nights
behind
2?
Spielberg.
I did see another Spielberg news. He's making a documentary about John Williams.
I saw that too. I'm kind of hyped for that. That's actually kind of an interesting person to do a documentary on, I feel like.
I also liked the way he was talking about the films he makes. He never makes a movie in like the same genre that he's already done. Unless if it's new to him, he's going to be interested. If it's something he's done, he's not going to care. That's why every single movie he does is different.
Except for the
You're gonna hate
sequels.
That's dope.
Except for sequels is what he said. He's like, if it's a sequel to a movie, it's going to be the same pretty much. He's like, if it's anything else, I'll change it up.
I'll do one musical, one biopic.
Commendable.
What am I going to be mad about, Matthew?
It's news about Kevin Spacey.
What?
Kevin Spacey is being honored with an Italy's National Museum of Cinema award.
Whoa, hold up.
Rare
I do not
L.
condone what he does outside of being an actor, but you can't deny he's a good actor.
It's after the charges, yeah.
Well, yeah, but like,
fun fact though, did you guys know
Italy
that?
L?
Did you know? Did you know that like he beat some of his cases though? He still doesn't mean that he's innocent, but I'm saying that proves that some of the girls were lying, but most of them.
Yeah, like wasn't it like
Still don't
released a
condone it.
couple months ago that like the biggest case he had was proven false?
Yeah,
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's
still
crazy.
a great actor though. Still a shitty dude, great actor.
He's getting presented the award for American Beauty and House of Cards.
American Beauty,
that makes
fire.
sense.
House of Cards, fire.
Italy.
Him as Lester in American Beauty. Okay, can we start talking about actors now?
Yeah,
Are we gonna do a Last of Us
there's
review
not
real quick?
much new.
Oh, look, yeah.
Or you want to save that for the end?
No, we can do it right now. Because I want to talk about
More of
Kevin
the news
Spacey
is
too.
literally just like actors dying.
Sam,
That's sad.
Yeah,
You didn't have to end it like that, Matthew.
but that's it. Like
Rest
that's
in
all
peace,
the
bro.
real news. Yeah,
Shout out to them.
most of them were
Okay.
90 though.
Fair enough.
What did you give the episode?
I gave it a 9.3.
What'd you give it, Miles?
9.4.
And I gave it a 9.5, which is actually funny. I'd also like
So
to preface that we also watched this all on 3 different days. So when I watched it, so I'll explain this. So last night I'm laying in bed, and I was like, I need to watch something because I didn't have school today. So I was like, gonna throw a movie on. I saw The Last of Us, and I put it on. I think that it starts off awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know anything about the games, so I'm basically going into this show knowing nothing about anything. So everything that I'm seeing is brand new to me. I have no idea. So when I'm not going to remember their names, I'm just terrible with. Oh no, I know her name, Sarah. When we see Sarah for the first time, at first I was like, "Who is this girl?" And when I found out that when she was his daughter, like right at the beginning, I was like, "I wonder how this is. Maybe it's an adoption." But then like they started having a connection, and I totally like disregarded like where she fits into his life. I was just like super connected because their on-screen chemistry was insane.
Mm-hmm.
Insane. I loved it, man. Like the beginning of that, I think the beginning of that episode was a little slow, just a little bit. And when I mean the beginning, I mean like the first 5 minutes. Because
Dude,
then
I
it
love that.
picks the fuck up. No, I'm not saying I
Yeah.
don't like it. I'm just saying like compared to the rest of it, it is just a little bit slow.
I love
But
I
it's still
love the
great.
way they change like zombies from every other show or movie of it being like a fungal thing. Like it seems like something that can actually happen. It's saying global warming changes the way these spread, and then it's like, damn, this seems more real than just a virus.
Yo, hold on. Can we talk?
everything.
Can we talk about the factor of the beginning with the scientists and how accurate that sounded? The way they were
Yes.
talking,
That's what I'm saying.
I'm like, I feel like I was kind of watching a newscast. I'm like, this could totally happen.
I felt so uncomfortable watching it, not because anything was comfortable, just because I was like, that shit could actually happen.
Yep.
It set that uncomfortable tone in me, man. I think that beginning scene was brilliant. I just think it was a little slow.
Yeah. It was
But I
an
mean-
odd place to start it, but like it fit perfectly.
I think so. Because then like it cut straight into the world building piece of, Joel and Sarah. And then Tommy, and then we kind of meet our main people, and you think, okay, like it's gonna be chill. And then I just like to say the way that we're introduced to the zombies was done so well. Because we're not even introduced to the zombies. You have to be paying attention to the back. Because
There's
dude is
a-
fucking
the old lady in the back.
yeah, that's a
But
dude.
if I didn't realize this, but if you pay attention, the whole reason that Tommy, Joel, and Sarah are alive is they say like on the news that the crops are going bad because of this fungus and everything. And then Joel can't make pancakes for breakfast. He forgets the cake. And there's one other thing, but because they didn't eat wheat, they weren't exposed to the virus like everyone else was.
Damn,
But it's
That's
like those
wild.
little details throughout.
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that just adds to like the culture, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. It's just
Yeah.
fire. I don't know.
And then they changed in the beginning, like in the game, that intro is like within the first 10 minutes, like that whole 40-minute span of Sarah dying.
Mhm.
But they expanded on it, making you see Sarah's day to day. Like she goes and fixes Joel's watch, and she's hanging out with the neighbors because she's just so nice, which ultimately just kills you when she dies. And
Yeah.
dude, I was bawling.
Dude,
Miles,
the
throw
way
that picture of me crying for the video.
Dude, and the way she dies is fucked. Like
Yeah.
it's not like any brutal death. I guess it's brutal. Like
Pretty
she got
mundane.
shot.
It's pretty mundane in
But-
the sense of what the show is about because she just got shot.
Exactly.
And it's like it's gut wrenching because you know this character and you feel for this character. But Pedro Pascal's performance as Joel in that scene, that's what sold me on that part. It wasn't the fact that she was dying. It was the fact that this dad is losing a daughter and he's freaking the fuck out about it.
Well, also I want to point out her performance because I honestly think it's pretty hard to die. Like to show like the hyperventilation of dying and showing like the slow, like you can just see them slowly fading out of life. She did it amazingly because like the whole time she's so anxious and like jittery because she's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And you could tell she's about to die because like when he picks her up, her body goes limp. And I think that's amazing because most people would just kind of follow with the actor and come up with them. Instead, as he picked her up, you can kind of see her body like fall.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like their on-screen chemistry is so good, man.
I think what hit me the hardest for her death is like, yeah, she got shot, which is sad, but it's how she got shot. It wasn't an accident or anything. It was literally the government saying, kill them.
Kill them.
And you're like, what the fuck? because
can't take the
Joel
risk.
Joel and Sarah, they're like, we're not sick, but he's like, but her ankle is messed up, and they're like, we can't take the risk, and then shoots him, and then that scene perfectly lines up with the ending scene where Joel's protecting Ellie against the guard, and Joel just doesn't hold back. He goes
Bro,
after him.
So I think what I like that Joel scene a lot, and when I was watching it, the first thing that I kind of associated to was not that it's Ellie, another girl.
Mhm.
It was like I feel like his mind switched in his brain because he couldn't like do anything with Sarah. In that moment, he just was trying to protect them, and he realized that protecting her by just being like, "Hey, like we're not sick," wasn't the right option in that situation. So he's like, "I'm not doing that shit again." Like, "Hey, let's just talk." He's like, "Fuck that," because you see where that got me.
You also, within those two scenes, you see the progression of his character. Because, like, in the beginning, he's very loving and thoughtful, and, like, he's not really cautious, but, like, he protects everyone. And he fails at protecting her. And then you get to the end of the episode, and he's lost all faith in the government. He doesn't care. He doesn't hold back. Like, that scene where one of the Fireflies is trying to initiate him. He's like, I swear to God, if you tell me to join the Fireflies, I'm going to kill you. And you're like, oh, okay.
You tell me to go towards the light, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
What did he like say? He's like,
this
I'm
is
gonna punch
one
your jaw
episode,
so
but I
hard,
think
I'm gonna
this
knock
is
you out.
yeah.
Either way, that's fucking.
This has only been one episode, but I think this is Pedro Pascal's best performance that I've seen him in.
Oh, for sure, not even close.
And I love The Mandalorian, and I think he's perfect there, but this is a whole different level of acting.
I think it also stems from the fact that this video game character is already so widely loved. To step into those shoes and have to fill that, not to like any like bare minimum. Like, okay, he's like an okay actor. We've seen plenty of times before that, like even with Uncharted, people were not happy with how Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland acted. Not that they're bad actors; they're just saying if you're going to act like these characters in the video game, act like them. You know, don't like try and don't try and change it to your way. I don't know anything about the games, but I know he acted damn fucking good in that.
Done great.
And I mean, maybe Miles, you can tell us, like, does he act like Joel in the game?
He's Joel.
So I haven't fully played the first game, but I have played bits and pieces here and there. But from what I can recall, he does a damn well good performance. And we're talking about Pedro Pascal in this scene, but we're also I want to bring up Bella Ramsey. People are like, oh, she's not a good Ellie. She doesn't look like her at all. The problem is you don't need to look like the character. As long as you act like them. Do you think Sarah looks like her fucking video game character? No. But I believe
Pedro Pascal looks like Joel a little bit.
Yeah, but okay, well, in the beginning he like, yeah, that's Joel. But when it's 20 years later, that's Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy that like when this show first got announced and it said Pedro Pascal, everyone was like, what? Pedro Pascal? But the second this episode dropped, everyone's opinion completely switched, and now it's like unanimously, okay, this is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta let the actors cook, man.
You gotta let them act, man. And I think that's like, I think that's like a forgotten part about acting is like you have to let them also put their own spin on it. And I don't know. I kind of feel like I kind of have like a weird judgment here just because I've never played the game, so I'm just kind of simply going off of what I've seen on the screen. But like, what's the girl's name? Elle Ramsey? Is that a real name?
Bella Ramsey.
Bella Ramsey. Bella Ramsey. My bad. Yeah, I mean, I think she killed it. Just for, like, I feel like obviously her role will be more important as the episodes go on. She didn't play a crazy big part in this episode. I mean, she played a crazy big part, but not a crazy big part, if you know what I'm talking about.
It was Joel's episode.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't, she just had, like, she has to be there.
Yeah.
But I think she killed it, man. Like, she acts very, very, closed off. You know, she does that very, very well. She acts very, like distant. I think those are sometimes hard things to do. It's like act out real human emotions that aren't just like the four normal ones, like happy, sad, anger, depression, blah, blah, blah. Like when someone says, I need you to act caught, like guarded off, and then she goes and does that, you have my respect, man. Because I feel like that is I mean, for someone who plans to direct and write movies in the future, that's what people in the film industry are looking for. They're looking for shit like that, not someone who can just act happy, or just be good here. You got to be good all over in like a bunch of different categories in acting, and I think she killed it, man. She did great.
I think all of the acting in the show, like Gabriel Luna as Tommy, he was such a small part, but I felt that bond between Joel and Tommy. And then I know Nick Offerman shows up later in the show, and I've heard great things about his performance. But
I this show reminds me a lot of The Walking Dead. The feel of it, like I definitely feel like it's going to be a cult classic, like The Walking Dead. Just because, from what I've seen, like I didn't plan to watch this until I saw like the fan service. Like so many people are like, if you have not seen The Last of Us, go watch that shit. And I don't think I've ever seen for like a series premiere. I've never seen that much. Oh my god, I can't think of the word. That much reception, that much good reception, even at that.
This is also the second most watched premiere for a show for HBO history. First being House of Dragon. So like, especially for a video game adaptation, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's a great point to put back to. Like, I'm not a fan of video game stuff, but this doesn't even feel like a video game show.
Yeah.
Like when I watch Uncharted, you can tell it's a video game movie, But this you can tell this is a show based on a video game, not like a movie that just is after a video game. You know what I mean?
Also, video game movies, and shows, they take like face value of the game and then change literally everything. Like the Halo series completely failed. Uncharted, it did okay. But this show, it takes 100% of the game and then adds its own stuff, like making Sarah dive more into Sarah's character before she dies. You can even watch. There's so many scenes in this in the first episode that are shot for shot remakes of the game, like the whole them driving out of their house and past like the burning barn, and then the plane crashes. Completely, it's shot for shot. And then when Ellie walks past Joel, when Joel's on the couch, and she's like, "Your watch is broken." If you put those together, like the lines line up almost perfectly with the way they're delivered. And
also,
that's just how it should be. You shouldn't change anything, keep it the same, but just add.
I think that car shot, man, was done so fucking well.
The production on this show,
the camera work for that shot, I think the camera work that takes, right? Mm-hmm. Like the rigging, the setting up, like you have to be perfect. Because like if they're like too far forward, the camera's gonna turn back too fast. If they have to be in the perfect spot, perfect time, perfect, and they did it, man. And they did it perfectly, swimmingly, even. So I have high hopes for the show, man. 9.4 for me. My bad. 9.5, 9.4, 9.5, somewhere in there. Solid show, man. Solid first episode. One of the best first episodes I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
and I don't think that's a crazy statement.
I do think.
I think before we move on, I just want to bring up that the production, just the way everything looks, the production detail, the sets, the makeup. I know later on when you see like the clickers and the bloaters, they look insane.
Dude, the last shot of the buildings, that shit is fire, man.
I do want to point out though, I think this is probably the best one because they have the people who made the game producing the show. And so it's like the guy who helped write the show also helped write the video game. And so it makes sense on why it's pretty much the same and people actually care about it. But with Uncharted, they just made the movie to make the movie. They didn't get Naughty Dog like onto the film at all. Sonic, they didn't really take any inspiration from games. They just took the character. And that's where I'm worried with like future video game productions. I have full faith in this one. Don't get me wrong. This one's going to be great, especially the second season. Because the second game the second game I've heard is like on par with the first one. And so that's going to be
It's on par, but everyone hates what they did. Like quality wise, great. They don't like the story. But
either way, man,
I think this show sets a bar for what video game adaptations should be. But
it's
also
only its first episode.
For writing, I found this out. The guy that wrote this show, he went from writing Scary Movie 3, Scary Movie 4, a superhero movie, The Hangover Part 2 and Part 3, and then he went to Chernobyl, which is regarded as one of the best shows ever, and then to this show. So,
Damn.
Scary Movie 3 to The Last of Us.
But I mean, the scary movies are funny and they have good story.
I mean,
they're just
yeah, but I mean, like, that's a leap and a bound in.
Well, yeah.
Tonally.
No, I'm just saying like it's. I'm not surprised that he's good at what he does. Like scary movie are funny. They're well written, so it doesn't surprise me that he's at where he's at.
Weird that comedians are just so good at horror and drama out of nowhere.
Makes sense, man. Makes sense to me.
Like comedian actors, best dramatic actors. Segue, Robin Williams,
Chris Tucker. Okay, Bill well, Hader. If we're gonna talk about acting, like or actors, I feel like, do you guys have a standard? Because I have a couple things, man, that I gotta like when I'm watching your performance. That's what I'm watching for, and I like one of them. One of them is like screen portrayal, and what I mean by that is like, how do you look uncomfortable on the screen? You know what I mean? Like, are you walking weird? Do you seem off? Like dudes like J.K. Simmons, Denzel Washington have that shit down packed. Like like if they're playing a very aggravated character, they're gonna walk aggravated. They're gonna talk aggravated. Even if they're saying, "Hi, mom, what's good?" It's gonna sound aggravated. Not because I feel like not because they need to make every scene aggravated because that's the character. Because it makes us, the audience, believe that he's actually this guy. So that's one. Two is just like your performance in general. Like, how do you do? Like, do I think that you would play this character? Do I believe this character is real, or do I believe you're just playing it on the screen? And then three is like on-screen chemistry with other actors. Can you work well? Does it work well? And I think Superbad, Michael Cera and Jonah Hill have some of the best, actually false, have the best on-screen chemistry I think I've ever seen in my life. Superbad.
I'm not mad with that take.
Because let's take the opening scene, right? Jonah Hill or Seth is just talking about porn sites. And Evan is a completely other person who's like, they're two opposites. Like Seth is this like really addicted to porn. I just want to have sex with girls. Evan's like, I really respect women. But he says, like, if I'm going to watch porn, I want some production value, maybe some editing transitions. And I think, like, it's funny as shit, but, like, when you break it down to a performance level, to have such a dry humor that it translates on the screen, you're at a different level, man.
Yeah.
Like, he took such, like, a mundane sentence and made it so funny, yet so dry. And Seth and Jonah Hill is the same thing, except he's taking really oversaturated, kind of gross things. Like no one really wants to talk about peeing on people. And he takes that and he makes it into a really, really funny, something super funny. And he works with that. I think those are two guys that are seriously underappreciated as well as actors. Because I talked about this last year. Like Jonah Hill was typecasted for like 15 years as the fat, funny, token white guy, even in Wolf of Wall Street, and even in Moneyball. Like in Moneyball, like the guy he plays isn't fat in real life, but they wanted him fat in this movie, so they got it. You know what I mean? It's like
they tried to do it to him for the Batman because he was originally up for the Penguin, and they really wanted him to play the Penguin, but he was like, "No, I want to play the Riddler." They're like, "But you don't look like the Riddler," so he just left. Yeah, and then we got Colin Farrell, which is a great choice,
which is better.
Yeah,
and I think there's also like a structure, man. There's like the Colin Farrell actors, and then there's Jonah Hill. Like Jonah Hill is a very good actor, but he's in his own league, man. Like I love Jonah Hill. I do. I don't think Jonah Hill could go act in a movie like The Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah, he doesn't fit the tone in that movie because it's very dry humor, but Jonah Hill doesn't do dry humor.
Exactly. And also, I don't think Colin Farrell could go do like a comedy at all. I don't think so. I don't think he has that in his abilities. I don't think so. And I
think it's the opposite, actually. I think Colin Farrell does have the ability to have that comedic aspect to him, because we've seen it before in Banshees, but we've also I that's really the only one I can think of out the top of my head. But Jonah Hill, I think if they switch places, I feel like Jonah Hill would have a harder time than Colin Farrell would.
Okay, that's fine. I think that's fair enough to say. I do think Colin Farrell is a funny guy. I've not seen Banshees, obviously, but I mean, like from what you guys told me, he's pretty funny on the screen. I just think like Jonah Hill is like the peak of funny. Like Eddie Murphy, those guys, like these actors that are doing basically the same roles in 5 different films, but it feels different. Like Jonah Hill acts basically the exact same as Seth in Superbad, and This Is the End, but they feel like 2 different characters. But it's Jonah Hill, in 21 and 22 Jump Street. Those are 2 very different characters, right around that same thing, just very raunchy comedies, but they feel different. Like there is a lot of movies that hit the same beat twice, but I think Jonah Hill has a step up between that, right?
I think,
and then no, you can go.
I was going to bring up, going back to what you were talking about, what makes a great actor. Like you gave your 3.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think what makes a great actor is like your versatility, like what not doing the same thing each time. I take someone like Christian Bale. Christian Bale never gives the same performance. He always gives the same quality of performance. But you take Patrick Bateman and then say Gore the God Butcher. Might have been a bad movie, but it's 2 very different things. And then I would say versatility, and I think 50% of acting is reacting and how you play off of everyone, and not. I mean, going back to The Last of Us, the guy that originally played Joel in the games, they did that scene where Sarah dies so many times, and they thought they got it, but they came back 3 weeks later and they were like, "No, we need to shoot this again because it's not working." And he was like, "All right." So instead of acting, what he did was just listen to what the girl who plays Ellie was doing and react off of that. Not feed the lines, give your best performance, help someone else give the best performance so that you get yours. So I think playing off of each other is what makes a great performance. And then finally, I would say I don't want you to stand out against everyone. You know what I mean? Like, your acting shouldn't be over the top. You shouldn't be like, I don't know, screaming at every time unless your character isn't. I mean, like, again, Patrick Bateman is a very over the top and weird character, right? And so you overact that character, but that's what the character calls for. I don't want you to stand out in every single movie just because that's what you're trying to do. You should just blend in with your character and your surroundings.
I'm going to piggyback off what you just said. So Christian Bale's performance in American Psycho, I think it's underrated. Honestly, it really is. But well, I'm just going to say, like, Patrick Bateman, like you just said, is a very angry and like confused character. And usually, like, reading a script, the first thing that's going to come to your mind is, okay, this guy's probably yelling all the time or probably looks angry. But then you watch Christian Bale on the screen and he's always calm and composed.
He's so charismatic.
Even in the restaurant with Jared Leto, when he's clearly pissed, he's like, "Oh yes, of course." Like, he looks so deadpan the whole time. And when he's angry killing people, he still has that charisma and he still kind of looks deadpan. And I think that's what makes it more terrifying, is because he's angry inside, but it's inside. On the outside, he looks like a serial killer.
It's expressing emotions without physically expressing the emotions.
Exactly.
Like, what they're actually feeling, but they're hiding it.
But Christian Bale is in a league of his own with a lot of other people because
S-tier actor.
Well, yes, and I think that's method actors are the best actors. Just to name a couple: Heath Ledger, Christian Bale,
Daniel Day-Lewis,
Joaquin Phoenix. I'm probably
Jim
Matthew
Carrey.
McConaughey, Jim Carrey. Like the list goes on and on forever. I think method actors. There's a distinct advantage and disadvantage to them. One, the disadvantage is mental, man. The shit that they probably go through day to day, going through the lives of the character they're trying to put themselves into, is probably so fucked on your mental. But I think the advantage is when they finally get to show what they've been putting so much time and effort into on the screen, it only elevates the role. Because look at Elvis, right? We just talked about this on the live podcast. Austin Butler spent 3 years basically doing everything Elvis did, and we see what that caused. He's gonna get a Globe. He's up for the Oscar. Who knows, right? Yeah. But I think if he went the traditional route, which is just like, let me do my normal acting shit, and then let me go act like Elvis, we would have got a way, way worse performance.
He also made the best out of like a shitty situation because in the middle of filming, COVID hit, so he just decided to spend all of that time making his Elvis performance the best it could be.
Yeah.
So he just put that extra effort into it. Whereas someone else might just take a break and pick up the script again.
I would like to say, though, I don't think method acting is the best form of acting. I think it's actually one of the worst because of how strenuous it is on your body and your mind and your health.
And I think the people around you.
I think it's more detrimental than it is beneficial. But most method actors, we will see the best performances out of them. Heath Ledger's Joker is in my top 3 performances of all time. And like, I think it's accounted for. Like Heath Ledger in 10 Things I Hate About You and Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight are 2 very different people, 2 very different acting performances. Because he's great in 10 Things I Hate About You. But in The Dark Knight, he's so like hurt, right? But then he shows it through anger, and I think that's exactly what the Joker is. Exactly what it is. And I'm not a big superhero guy, but like the Joker usually seems like this very like, I'm just gonna fucking put everything I hate in the world, and I'm gonna throw it at everyone else. And I think he did that perfect.
Hate and anger, but throws a facade of humor and lightfulness over the top, which makes Heath Ledger's performance so strong. Is
so good.
You don't see, which is what's so compelling. You don't see what's going through his mind.
Right.
Instead, you're seeing through all of his actions, the way that he moves, the little things that Heath decided he wanted to do, like leave makeup on his hands because the Joker just put on his makeup. It's like those little minute details that make performances and these characters so memorable.
I mean, I can't argue with that at all. All right, before I keep rambling, Miles, what are your critiques? Because I could just keep talking forever.
At least one of the main ones I have is, do I see the actor or do I see the character? It's like, if I'm going to watch a movie, I don't want to see the actor. I want to see the character they're portraying. Like, I'll use Elvis as an example. I saw Austin Butler as Elvis, but I didn't see Colonel Tom Parker with Tom Hanks. I saw it was Tom Hanks
in acting this guy.
Acting. And so it felt very, I'm like, oh, that's Tom Hanks. But with other actors, it's like, as you said with the Joker, I'm like, that's the Joker. That's Patrick Bateman. Stuff like that.
But what's funny about that Tom Hanks role is like, you're not supposed to recognize him because he has so much makeup on, but you just can't help but recognize him. And then it doesn't help that he gave a dog performance.
Yeah, it's so bad. I'd like to say this about Tom Hanks because he's been getting a lot of hate recently, which I think is accounted for. He did such a shit job in the last couple things. Even in the Pinocchio movie, apparently his performance is ass. So I think that Tom Hanks used to be an S-tier actor, like maybe 30 years ago. But I think he's in that C-tier range now just because I don't care if you
C-tier?
Well, listen. I don't care if you are Leonardo DiCaprio, considered the best actor of all time by a lot of people. If you are giving countless shitty performances, you're getting degraded. I don't give a shit if Tom Hanks is Forrest Gump. That movie is awesome. That's one of the greatest movies I've ever seen in my life. But His performance in Forrest Gump is so good, and then you go and watch Pinocchio, you go and watch Elvis, you go watch even Castaway.
I
It's like,
I can understand him getting bumped down a level, but C tier?
I think so many people have already passed him.
I don't think C tier. I definitely think he's on probably the bottom end of A or maybe the high B. I definitely don't think he's down at C, because if we're talking C tier, we're talking people who are in movies that came out early 2000s with a budget of $10,000. We're talking like that's
C
what the
tier
level
is like Jai Courtney.
Okay. I guess. Well, I'm thinking him like I'm not putting all these people in my tier list. It's like the top actors in my mind, the top actors of all time. He's in a C tier. I think Jimmy Stewart's also in that C tier range. James Stewart is an old ass actor. I don't even know how many people are listening to this are going to even know who that is. But in his day, he was that guy. And you go and watch his shit now, and you're just like, okay, like he's an okay actor. Tom Hanks is a better than an okay actor. I'd agree. I'm saying that 1,000% right now. What I'm saying is he's so good that he should not be giving us these bad performances like he has been. And I don't want to hear it's like old age, because Brad Pitt's 53. Also, Brad Pitt is my favorite actor of all time. I've come to that conclusion. Brad Pitt is 53 years old, and his performance in Bullet Train is one of my favorite of last year. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what do we blame it on? What do we say causes his bad acting? Is it just because he's getting old? If that's the case, then that's tough. Because Morgan Freeman's still good as fuck, and he's in his 80s.
I think you were comparing very different performances, because if you put James Stewart in nowadays movies, it'd probably be dog shit. Because you're taking
I don't know
1940s to up to the 70s.
Style.
It's a different style of cinema, and so you're comparing apples to oranges at that point, because if you flipped them, they're both actors, but who can do a better job at the other person's performance? That's all it comes down to in my eyes. Is that that happen?
We didn't get modern type of acting like that we consider until The Godfather with Marlon Brando.
Right. I mean,
acting didn't change until then. Like, okay,
that
this
was
is
1970s, right?
Yeah, there's a very weird nitpick that I have with old movies, and it's the way people kiss. Right? It's weird.
No, it looks like this.
They smack their faces into each other, and they like, you guys can't see this if you're listening somewhere else, but like they don't puff out their lips or anything, and it's always looked weird to me, because I know that's not how it's done. And I think that's where I'm like, that's the difference between then acting and now acting. That was good back then. Completely different ballgame.
Well, let's talk about this for a second then. So my mom's 6 years old. We all know that, right? My mom's kind of old, kind of not. When my mom was in high school, like she had to have permission to have the boys over. Permission, just to have like friends over, right? So let's think about acting wise. These girls probably don't want to kiss these guys in these movies, right? They probably don't want to do that. And it's also wasn't really culturally accepted to go kiss someone that wasn't your husband back then.
It was that's why the way things were like rated for production.
Exactly. So I think all those are things that were major disadvantages, because now you can put anything you want in a movie. Not anything, obviously. You can put most things you want in a movie, and if it gets to a certain point, they'll just put an R rating on it, right?
Yeah.
There's like, at least in modern cinema, I haven't really seen like people aren't really weird with kiss scenes anymore. They're pretty open to them, and we don't have there isn't the boundaries of, hey, you have to wear a pencil skirt. Hey, you can't kiss someone that's not your wife. Obviously, you shouldn't, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think dudes like Humphrey Bogart, Jimmy Stewart, Alfred Hitchcock, Charlie Chaplin, they're all in the top of their league in their generation. Tom Hanks used to be in the top of his league, because I can probably name you 10 actors that are better than Tom Hanks on my hands. So I think that right there diminishes him. Not that he's a bad actor. I think he's great. But to have all these great performances, and as you get older, you're getting worse, seems like that's like the backwards format. You know what I mean?
I think another thing when it comes to old acting is we learn this in class of when movies were first starting getting made, obviously they were silent, but you had to act with your body. And these were actors coming from theater backgrounds. They did plays and everything. And so everything was very theatrical. It wasn't until we got to, I'm going to say The Godfather again with Marlon Brando, where acting became just something you just gave a performance. You weren't trying to stand out or anything. You weren't trying to accentuate some emotion.
Right.
It's just that's how you feel.
Right.
And I think beforehand, the acting performances were great for that style. Mm-hmm. And it's just acting performances now they've become real. Because even then, I feel like everyone was like, that's just not how we act, but it's something I want to watch. But now it's like, I want to put myself in that situation. I want to see a real person in that situation. Right. And I think that's what makes a great actor is how believably they can sell the most random story with seemingly least amount of effort.
Right. Well, so it's actually funny that you kind of bring up like random story because it's not really random, but I think Sam Worthington, it's the guy that plays Jack Sully in Avatar. I think not. I'm not going to say him because I haven't seen enough of what he's in, but I think his performances in Avatar are very underrated because in the first one, like I really fucking love Avatar. Like I love that
in a wheelchair and like.
Well, yeah, but I love the Na'vi. I love everything. When I think of Jack Sully, I strictly think of the Avatar version, Tak Mateo, all of it, right? Mm-hmm. But Sam Worthington, when he plays the real life human Jack Sully, his performance is so good because it seems like he's actually caring about this real, actual race, right? Where he has to care and he has to be in love and he has to fight for fake people that don't exist. You know, so it's already hard enough for him to act as a character in this movie, but now he's acting like a character, acting like they love fake people. I just think it was a very underrated thing, but I just wanted to bring that up real quick because you were talking about like random stories. I think those type of actors where they have to act upon something that's already not there, like when like E.T. or shit like that, like Scooby-Doo, those ones need to be appreciated a little bit more because Matthew Lillard spent 85% of that 85% of that movie either talking to a dude in a suit on the ground on all fours or air. And he was still killing it.
Infinity War, when they're dealing with Thanos, they were just dealing with Josh Brolin and a foam head, like a foot above his actual head. But they had to believably pass on that they are fighting this 13-foot massive purple titan. And Josh Brolin had to give that.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I think
he's pretty tall.
I think casual moviegoers, they have this idea in their head that like these are the best performances of all time. Leonardo DiCaprio in insert here, Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Denzel, like, you know, all the big names you've heard since we were little kids. Mm-hmm. But I think for the four of us, or just really anyone that's into industry or knows what goes into the industry, they can understand and respect that even someone like Saoirse Ronan, who isn't in a lot, is a talented actress, but as a casual moviegoer, they might watch Lady Bird and they're like, I mean, she's like, all right. She's awesome in that movie. Lady Bird is a fire fucking movie. But it's just the fact that they don't get a lot of recognition. And I want to recognize that 98% of actors are really fucking good at what they do. The other 2% are perfect at what they do. Maybe not perfect, but they're like the top tier of actors. And I think that's a perfect segue into what we were talking about last night because we started getting into the argument. I said that
I don't get it.
I said that right when the beginning of movies started and like when we got out of the silent era and sound was coming around, Charlie Chaplin was the standard. When you thought of a movie, you thought of Chaplin. When you thought of who's the best actor right now, you thought of Chaplin. When actors were coming into the industry asking for advice, who'd they ask? Chaplin. And I think the standard for now is Leonardo DiCaprio. So I think, yes, they're two very different people. Yes, Leonardo DiCaprio is 10 times better than Charlie Chaplin. But I still think, man, like for the best performances and
time, yes, he's the best.
Best actors of all time, they need to be in the same conversation. Because without Chaplin, we wouldn't have modern performances like today.
Okay, I think last night you explained it.
Probably so shitty.
Yeah, you did, because it made me angry last night.
Because you explained it very differently last night. You didn't really go into the detail of who do they ask. You basically said modern day Charlie Chaplin is Leonardo DiCaprio, and that's all you basically said.
I wanted to leave it for the podcast.
Right. Okay, but here's how I would agree with you. I think there's 3 eras of acting, right? I think Charlie Chaplin owns silent movie era, so that would be like until like the 30s, right? King of that, without a doubt. And then I don't even know who it would be, but somewhere between like the early 40s to 70s.
Humphrey Bogart, Jimmy Stewart, James Stewart,
those
Stewart,
kind of guys.
probably.
They own that era. And then I think past the 70s, you got like De Niro,
Nicholson,
Bale, DiCaprio, obviously, Blanchett.
They weren't until the 90s though. Bale and DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Really?
But what I'm saying is like
postmodern.
There's a different era of acting.
Right. But I also think like, okay, so I don't think I've ever said this before to you guys either. So my top 3 performances of all time that I've ever seen is Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's, which I hope you've seen Breakfast at Tiffany's, hopefully. Heath Ledger is the Joker in The Dark Knight, and Ryan Gosling in La La Land. I think those are the 3 best performances I've ever seen in my entire life. And I know that like J.K. Simmons in Whiplash, I left out. Denzel Washington in Training Day, I left out. Those are all great performances. But for me, Audrey Hepburn is arguably in the top 5 actresses of all time. But she's a very different actress. Like her versus Cate Blanchett, 2 very different people. They perform crazy different on the screen. But the thing about Audrey Hepburn, and my mom can attest to this, because my mom's the one who told me this, like people were like at awe as the way she was acting on the screen, because she acted the exact same in real life, but the way she was on the screen was, you could tell she was acting as someone else. And I think like nowadays, like Cate Blanchett is amazing, but like to have the ability of basically doing exactly what you do every single day, put it on the screen, but act like someone else. I don't know. Maybe it sounds harder than it is to actually do. But for people like my mom saying that like back in the day, people were actually shocked to see her act because it was some of the greatest things ever. Then again, like they didn't have Cate Blanchett back in the fucking 60s, 40s and shit. But you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if audiences would like modern day actors.
I don't
like if you were to take someone and just have them give just take Leo in. I'm gonna say Don't Look Up because it's a very easy role and he doesn't act much. It just feels like a real person. If you were to throw him in a movie for like the 50s, I don't think people would care.
I don't think so. But I also think it's the exact same way. Like I think if Audrey Hepburn was still alive, and I think if Audrey Hepburn was acting the exact same way she was back then, she would be these social Ronin people. Like, okay, you're like kind of okay.
If you were to take Chaplin and put him in some, say like Whiplash, I would hate it. I think I think it would come off as awful because, he's a very physical actor.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's how it was for 20 years. And when Humphrey Bogart and Jimmy Stewart started coming around, I think the narrative acting changed from like because the beginning of acting was very play, like theater acting. Like exactly, Chaplin was a theater guy before he was a movie guy. And then you see Humphrey Bogart and you see Jimmy Stewart. And I think what they brought to the table that inevitably changed everything again was they brought substance to these characters. Like Jimmy Stewart in Psycho is terrible.
That's not him.
It's not Psycho. My bad. Not Psycho. What am I thinking of?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
No.
It's not him either.
Vertigo.
No, Vertigo. That's what it is. My bad. I don't know why I thought Psycho.
It's not Jimmy Stewart and To Kill a Mockingbird.
I don't know. My bad. Anyways, so him in Vertigo and him in It's a Wonderful Life. Though that's night and day right there, man. And I think postmodern actors like now, like Denzel Washington, he even said it. He was like, you go look at these Jimmy Stewart guys, like, without them, I wouldn't be able to do what I do today. And we saw Denzel literally tell Baz Luhrmann, hey, man, Austin Butler needs to be Elvis. He's a damn good actor. And if Denzel's saying that, that's got to say something. And then now we're in a new era of even better actors. Like Zendaya, Anya Taylor-Joy, Ana de Armas. I know she's a little older, but she's kind of getting in more movies. Timothy Chalamet, Tom Holland, Caleb McLaughlin, everyone from Stranger Things. Like, these young guys are picking up real big Hollywood roles, but they're not fumbling the bag. They're doing phenomenal jobs.
Yeah,
and now these older actors are recognizing that. Like, Brad Pitt is like, dude, he's like, bro, you look at fucking Aaron Taylor Johnson in Bullet Train. He was like, dude, he killed that shit. He killed it too in that movie.
Mhm.
And that's Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt, who
is one of the best,
in my opinion,
well-known actors.
His two
in my
Oscars.
opinion, yeah, but in my opinion, he is the best actor I've ever seen portray characters on the screen, because every time he plays someone, I swear it is different every time. The way he talks, the way he walks, the way he perceives himself, it's different every time. Like, he walks with so much swagger and charisma in Troy, right? But in Bullet Train, he's so shy and like he walks with a shrug. And in 7, he walks so high and mighty, but he's like,
because
he's like, you know,
shit, but then he gets
exactly
put in place.
Exactly. But I feel like there's some other actors who are great. They can't do that, man.
Yeah.
And if Brad Pitt is saying that about these young guys, like, it's just, I feel like as the years go on, we're just getting better and better at acting and acting and acting. And I think it can only get better. I don't think there'll ever be a peak at acting. I think it will get to the point where you don't even have to tell me who the actor is. Just let me watch them on the screen, and I can be like, okay, I fuck with that character. And I mean that in the sense of, like, when you watch, like, if you've never seen Avatar, the first one, and you just watched Way of the Water, you would fucking love Jake Sully. You would love him as a character. But then when you go back and watch Avatar, you know, kind of like it'll make you love him more. But like, he's such a good character just in that movie alone, let alone him being a human, let alone, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like acting is always going to be elevating no matter what. But like, bringing back to my original statement, the standard right now is still Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, you look, hey, who is the guy? Like, when you think of acting, Leonardo DiCaprio comes to mind. Denzel Washington. For me, like, when I think of the standard, I'm thinking Leo. So that's where I'm going off of this. Like, Leo hasn't ever been in a bad role. Even in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, which is considered, some people are mad about that. He's great in that movie. Don't tell me he's
great.
Not.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying some people. I know some people that don't like that movie, but they're also they're casual moviegoers. So I'm saying, like, I've never seen him in a bad role. I don't think he's ever acted in a bad role.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the standard. And Chaplin back in the day, that's who he was. Like, if you wanted to make it anything in film, you went and you talked to Chaplin. Hey, man, what do I do? Hey, man, how do I do this? Hey, man, how do I portray myself? It's like you boom, boom, boom.
I do think that is a fair comparison in that sense, because if we're comparing, like, Chaplin to fucking Leonardo DiCaprio, I thought of this question yesterday because I was like, I'm curious what you guys think about it. Who do you guys think is the modern day Alfred Hitchcock?
Like, actor director?
No, just director to director.
Nolan.
I think Wes Anderson.
I probably said Fincher.
I'm gonna say Wes Anderson.
I think we each got a different.
I don't even know.
I say Wes Anderson just because when Alfred Hitchcock released, he made The Birds, right?
Yep.
Yeah, when he made The Birds, I remember Jeremy just saying in class, like, everyone was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" Because it was so out there. And I think Wes Anderson with
Nolan.
I get what you're saying. I just feel like with Wes Anderson, his movies are so always out there. Like, the Grand Budapest Hotel is not a crazy idea for a story. The look of it, the feel of it, the way they talk, the way they act, it's so out there and different, man. They're two very different.
I think I changed my answer. I think in the sense of a modern day director who is still actively directing stuff, he is a bit older, but I think Steven Spielberg is probably the closest option in that race because of what he said earlier of the I don't want to make a movie the same way. Yes, Alfred Hitchcock did make some of the movies the same way, but he also was such a big ass name. It's like, you want to see that Alfred Hitchcock movie? Of course. Oh, it says Alfred Hitchcock. Let's go watch it. And that's the same with Steven Spielberg nowadays. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about like that, like who's the modern director that like you hear their name and you're gonna watch anything and everything that they watch? Yeah, Spielberg is up there, Nolan's up there, Tarantino's up there, Scorsese. But I think that also adds the conversation of 50, 30, 40 years ago, there's only like 3 dudes and like one girl that was big at all times, right? It was like, okay, it's like Chaplin's your actor, Hitchcock's your director. Then it switched to like Humphrey Bogart and Jimmy Stewart, and you had, but it was never like nowadays.
For me, mine would be David Lynch.
Interesting choice.
I see where you're coming from, but back to what I was saying. Like, no, you finished what you were saying.
I was just gonna say because of that one short film that we were shown last year.
Well,
that I've been told that most of his stuff is like that.
Yeah, it is
pretty out there. But I think nowadays we have so many big names. You know what I mean? There's so many. It's kind of hard to count because even some people consider Guillermo del Toro to be one of the greatest directors of all time.
I consider that.
Exactly. So it's like who really like it's going to be picky and choosy with directors, but I think with actors you could swindle it down to who's the standard. Like Brad Pitt, we did that game last week, or was it 2 weeks ago where we did like it was last week where we did the net worth or whatever it was. Like they make the same amount of money, and yet I feel like Leah was more of a household name than Brad Pitt is. Not that Brad Pitt is any less of an actor. You think of, who's the guy? It's Leonardo DiCaprio. And I think with directors, it's like back then, yes, it was Hitchcock, but it can be anyone now. Like, think of a director right now. Boom, you're probably thinking of 40 that just popped into your head. You know what I mean? Even Ari Aster's on the uprise, and he's a young director. Jonah Hill's up there, and he didn't even start as a director.
Jordan Peele,
Denis Villeneuve, he's awesome. Fucking Dune, man.
All right, I think since you guys got to go soon, I think we should just say our favorite actor or favorite actor at the moment.
Okay, got it.
I think we know Garrett's.
Yeah, my favorite actor of all time is Brad Pitt. Yes, but my favorite actor as of right now is still Timothée Chalamet.
Interesting choice.
Miles.
I've been saying this on the podcast for probably months at this point, but it's probably Jonathan Majors because of Lovecraft Country, because of what he does in other roles. He's just great, man. And he didn't really start
of
until
all time or right now.
Right now, he's creeping up there though.
Yeah.
Matthew,
I'm thinking.
All right, I'll go. My favorite actor is J.K. Simmons because whether you like it or not, he just shows up in everything you like. He's the yellow M&M.
Yeah.
He's the State Farm guy, but he also, in my opinion, gave the best performance that I've ever seen in Whiplash. He's in Gravity Falls, which is my favorite show. Invincible, which is like my favorite superhero show. He just shows up in everything and never gives a bad performance. He even showed up in Ghostbusters for like 10 seconds, which was hilarious. But I think the best actor of all time, in my opinion, is Christian Bale.
I don't think that's a bad take.
Yeah, mine would have to be either Christian Bale or I just had them.
Cap.
Leo.
No.
But Leo's definitely my top 5.
John David Washington.
I just had their name.
Adam Driver.
Adam Driver, he's on the come up.
Wait, okay, while you're looking, I would just like to say I don't think what Christian Bale does anyone can do.
No, bro.
The dedication he puts into everything.
I couldn't tell you what he does, but what he does, that shit's no one else can do that shit.
Okay, my bad. I got it now. Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's not a bad take.
Bro,
Jake
him. So
Gyllenhaal and
the
Christian
next
Bale.
movie I want to watch is what's that fucking movie? It's like starts with an Devotion, not Devotion, something like that. He's like dancing in that shit with headphones on.
Oh yeah.
What is it called?
Shit.
That's my
Is it
next
Jake
watch
Gyllenhaal?
though. Yeah, it's Jake
Jake.
Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
That's my next Jake Gyllenhaal movie I want to watch. Like
I know
that's
what
also
you're
not a bad take.
Mm-mm.
I think he's rising on a lot of people's lists, man. Which is he
Demolition.
deserves that shit.
Did you guys
Demolition.
when Strange World was coming out and he was doing like the press tour and they're advertising the movie. He's like, I guess you could say it's a real strange world. And then no one else says anything and they just let him suffer in his bad joke.
Damn. That's rough.
He just like looks around, he's like nah, man. Jake Gyllenhaal. Good pull.
Yeah.
And if
Okay,
not Jake
well-
Gyllenhaal, Hugh Jackman.
It's also a great
good
pick.
pull.
All right. Well, me and Matthew got to go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outro us.
I'm gonna close it out real fast. Oh wait, before you. Okay, no, I got one more thing to say. Fuck Will Smith. Okay, you can go.
No. We can no.
I will not accept this.
I am not
slander,
ending with
Garrett.
that. I'm not ending with that.
Okay, he's a great actor. I hate him. That's all.
Only after last year.
Nope,
No.
not after last year. That just sparked it even more.
I think I'm on
All right.
Garrett. I'm on Garrett's side with that one, dude.
You could have kept it to yourself.
Outro it, Garrett.
Could've
I'm not
kept it.
outroing Ben.
It was
Is
me, dummy. All right. That has been our Last of Us review plus our actors discussion ramble. If you want to see more, check out our YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, if you're watching on
Please.
YouTube, listen on Spotify. Follow our TikTok. We're posting a lot of stuff there. And we're just way more consistent now with higher quality. Appreciate all of the support if you're giving it.
Indeed.
If you're not, we want support.
If you're not gonna watch it, at least share the video.
Yeah. Who's
They,
favorite?
they watch this entire video just to be like, oh fuck, I gotta share it now.
Like
right.
it, subscribe, do all that other
Of
shit.
course.
If you made it to the end of the video, say you hate Craig. They don't know who Craig is, but like say you hate
Screw
him.
Craig.
Yes. Fuck Craig.
Fuck Craig. Hashtag fuck Craig.
Hashtag fuck Craig.
y'all.
All right,
Next
boys.
one.
Later.